the travel information. Park said to offer free movies and TV shows to the United Up.
This is going in the archives for what I think is my future flip-flop announcement video. That's crazy to say. Feasibly, it is possible for me to make it to Maine. I could do it. But I will be stressed the whole time. I will constantly be crunching numbers to see if I'm doing enough miles to get there. I will be pushing myself. I will be stressed. I will likely run into cold weather. And I don't want that. I don't want to rush this experience if I don't have to. I want to enjoy it. I want to listen to my body. And I think what I'm coming to realize is flipping is not what I expected. That's not what I thought would happen. That's not how I wanted things to go. But I think this journey, a lot of it, is about me coming to terms with the fact that things haven't gone the way I thought they would for my entire life. And being okay with that. And I think this is an example. And this is me learning to be okay with that. To let go, to not hold on so tightly to what I think I should do. And do what's best. There are other pros to flipping. I won't be alone. I'll be at the back of the pack of the NOBOs because of when I want to flip. But I won't be alone. I'll be running into all the people I met going north. And I won't have to worry about the weather. And I can take my time. And I know before an issue I said had to do with budget. Budget isn't an issue at this point. Things in my life have changed, and that's okay. So we can do what we need to do. And I think this is what I need to do. All right. Surprise! I feel like I've dropped some hints, so maybe some of you picked up on it. I flipped, and I know some of you will be excited for me, and I know some of you will be disappointed, but this is the right decision for me. It was a really hard decision to make, and I'll talk you through how I made that process, or that decision process. I never thought that this is what would happen. I genuinely was fighting it, white knuckling being a NOBO, because for 15 years I imagined summoning Katahdin at the end. But I decided that that may not be what's best for me, and ultimately I'm okay with that. So of course, people have been saying for a while with my mileage that flipping might be necessary. And there was one day, that 0 in Glasgow, when the boys were asleep until 10:30 and there was no one else in the house, and a shuttle driver came in and asked me when I started, and I said April 3rd, and he said, "Oh, you're doing okay. You thinking about flipping?" And of course it had been on the mind, but I don't know, that kind of really got me thinking. I now found out that that same shuttle driver spoke to someone the same day as me who started 3 days after I did. And he said, "Oh, you're doing great. You're moving right along." So whatever. But I sat there and I thought, and I came up with a plan to flip, but I wasn't sold. I was just thinking it over. And I spent a few weeks thinking it over. I talked to several people. Most people on trail were telling me not to flip. When I ran into Jimmy from Open Objective, we talked briefly about my plan, and he said, just keep hiking north. You don't have to stress yet. People shouldn't be putting that pressure on you. But the problem is, I was putting the pressure on myself. I had already spent a month crunching numbers every day, trying to determine if my mileage was enough to get me there. And I was stressed and I wasn't enjoying myself because all I thought about was, am I doing enough to get there? And it became less about the journey and more about the destination. And that's not what I wanted this to be. I love this trail, and it was hard to love it when all I could think about is, am I going to make it? Could I make it? Absolutely, 100%. If I pushed myself, I could do it, and I know that I could, but I wouldn't enjoy it. The few days that I do big miles, all I think about is getting to camp. I don't even pay attention to the scenery and don't take the blue blazes to see the sights. It's just about getting miles in. And while for some people that's what this trail is, that's not what it is for me. I knew that this trail would be physically challenging, and it is. Nothing so far that I can't handle. But I'm not in it for the physical challenge. That's not why I'm out here. Some people are out here to push themselves and see how many miles they can do, but that has never been who I am. And I don't enjoy the big mile days. I like going slow. I like taking my time. And flipping is going to give me that opportunity. It's going to allow me to slow down and soak it all in and enjoy the time that I have. So I'm flipping. And as I said in that clip that I posted from the day I decided, this is just a small example of me learning to accept that things don't always look the way that you think that they're going to, but sometimes they end up being even better. My life hasn't looked how I thought it would, but I wouldn't be out here if my life had looked differently, and so I'm thankful for that. And so this is an example of me learning to let go in real life, as well as out here, and to accept that things don't always go as planned, and that's okay. And so I'm looking forward to this flip for a few reasons. I'm looking forward to running into everyone who's going NOBO. I'm too social for my own good, and so I'm probably going to be moving even slower than I usually do, stopping and talking to everyone. I'm excited for the change in scenery. Maine and New Hampshire are going to be tough and beautiful, but I am excited to switch things up. I think ending where I'm ending is going to be nice and cruisy, and I'm excited to roll in at the end. But I'm grieving some things, for sure. I am grieving the NOBO mile markers. I am grieving not saying that I walked to each of these states the first time I went to them. If you didn't know, I said this, I think, in my things I'm excited about video. I had never been to any of the states past North Carolina, and I was excited to say the first time I went to them, I walked to them. I will not be able to say that, and that's okay. I am grieving seeing Katahdin before I get to it. When I hike, if I were to hike north, I would see it. And I'm grieving that moment at the sign that's, the moment of completion. I'm not going to get that, but I'm going to get so much back. I'm going to get joy. I'm gonna get time. I'm going to go slow and enjoy every moment, enjoy every view, and not have to worry, am I doing enough? Am I pushing hard enough? Um, do I have to skip this view so I can get in more miles today? I'm not going to have to worry about that, and I'm so thrilled. A few people I've hiked around lately have been encouraging me not to flip, to keep hiking north, and I respect that they believe in me, but I would be miserable if I kept hiking north. Um, and I know that because the last few weeks I've really pushed myself to get to where I am. And my body hurts and it's not fun. So I made the decision to flip in the Shenies. And I talked to Kara Gertley, who's a fellow YouTuber and current ridge runner, while I was there, about her experience. And she did not encourage me one way or the other to flip, but she did not get to finish her through hike. And while I was nervous that I would regret flipping, she said, the only thing you would regret is not finishing. She wasn't trying to sway me, but the most important thing is finishing the hike. And this guarantees that I get to, as long as I'm not injured. And so, yeah. So the decision I made sitting there in that empty house in Glasgow that made me consider the idea of flipping was actually my 30th birthday is coming up. And how freaking sweet would it be for me to summit Katahdin on my 30th birthday? The logistics were complicated, and weather does not necessarily look promising, so we'll see how things go. But the goal is to summit Katahdin on my 30th birthday and begin hiking south. I am so excited for this journey. And I know to some people that my hike will not be valid for them, that they won't consider this a through hike because I flipped. And I'm sorry you feel that way. This is my hike and I'm happy with this decision. The ATC determines that a flip-flop is still a through hike, and in fact they recommend it. Well, this is not what I envisioned. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. It is hard to do. Yesterday was my last day as a NOBO at the time that I'm filming this anyway. And there was some sadness there, but also so much excitement. And I can't wait to take you along on the journey.